Hello and welcome back. In this section, we shall introduce ourselves to Git and GitHub. But first, let me introduce myself. My name is Juma Shafara and I'm a data scientist at Raising the Village and instructor at Data Idea. This year, I set out to help people become data scientists by covering data science concepts in a simple and intuitive way. I have a roadmap link in the description, but so far we have covered all the Python basics. We've also covered some Python libraries like pandas for data manipulation and matplotlib for data visualization. And at this point, if you've been following, you're probably thinking to yourself, why not work on some particular projects to help us hone our intuition on these concepts? But first, I would like to introduce you to version control because when working on particular projects, sometimes you have these ideas that you are trying out, and sometimes they work, other times they don't. Okay, but you need a way to keep track of all the changes that you have made in this project, such that if something never worked, you can maybe go back to a particular point in time when your project was working. Otherwise, you risk restarting the entire project at once when things go out of hand. But also, you may just want to collaborate with your friends, or maybe if you have a whole team, you may want to collaborate and work on the same project, and you will need to track every single change that every other person is contributing to the project. Okay, this is where Git and GitHub come in. In this video, we'll introduce ourselves to Git and GitHub. And to begin with, Git. Git and GitHub sometimes confused are not the same. Okay, Git is usually an offline version. It is a version control system. Okay, that tracks changes in your code over time, and this enables also for collaboration and branching. I'll talk about branching later in a distributed way. So distributed means if you're working, say, in a team, every other person can have their copy of the project and can make changes without waiting for another person to finish before they add. Okay, so this is a really handy thing. It makes it very easy to collaborate. Now, this is how it works also. Here I have some little diagram to demonstrate. Usually we have our project. These dots here will represent our projects at different times. Okay, what happens is that whenever you are working on a project, you may as well want to create a branch, okay, where you make some changes and then you can merge this somewhere. And also your friend can make a branch where they make their changes and then they can merge them. Or if maybe the changes were not desired, okay, you can just cut them out of the project. In this way, you will be having your entire project really organized like this, where you can go back to a certain point in time for this particular project. Now, before I move to GitHub, let me talk about one thing. The way Git works is that it takes a snapshot of your current project and then stores this in a particular folder, which is usually named .git. And this folder, usually hidden in your project, is what we shall be calling a repository. So a repository is a particular folder where snapshots of your project in a particular point in time are stored, and all the history of your project is stored. Okay. Next is GitHub, and GitHub is the collaboration platform based on Git. Okay, so what happens is that on GitHub we can be able to host our Git repositories, and as I mentioned earlier on, a repository is just a folder that has all the history of the changes in our project and snapshots of our projects at different points in time. So through GitHub, you are able to collaborate with other people, okay, on the same project. So GitHub will allow us to upload our code, and other people can sort of download the changes, okay, and they can make their changes also and upload, and then you can also download, okay. And also it has a bunch of other features that we shall learn about in future. So this is how they connect, as I mentioned earlier on. With Git, you work on your local machine, okay? And then after working, you push your changes to GitHub. You push your repository to GitHub. And what happens is that other people that you're working with, okay, on this particular project can be able to download the changes that you have made and sync them to their project, and also push their combination up to GitHub. And then you can also download and then merge the changes that they have made with your own changes, and you keep going back and forth like that until the project is done. So let's first look at some key terms that we need to know as we progress with version control using Git and GitHub. The first one is a repository. I mentioned it already several times, and this repository is a particular folder, usually named .git, okay, which is usually contained in your project folder, okay. And this one just contains snapshots of your project in particular times, and also it contains a record of all the changes that were made to your current project. A commit is a particular snapshot, okay, that is stored in GitHub repository. And then a branch in this context is when you're working on a particular project. If you want to make a change, say if you're working in a team especially, and you intend to make a change, what happens is that you create a branch which is a parallel version, a copy of the project, okay. And on this copy is where you'll be making your changes, and then your changes can be reviewed later and added to the main project, okay. So branching allows you to make any changes without necessarily modifying the main part of the project. Then merge is when you add up all the branches, or basically when you add a branch to another branch, okay, maybe your feature branch to a main branch, okay, that's merging. And again, we shall see all these in action. And then a pull request is when you have made your changes and you've pushed your code to GitHub, you want the manager of the project to review your changes and maybe merge these changes to the main project. And to do this, you make a pull request. Let's try this out, and we shall do this in two parts. In the first part, we shall see how we can use Git on our machine to track changes in our project. And then in the next part, we shall use GitHub to collaborate with other people. Okay, so before we get started, you want to make sure that you have Git installed. You can install Git from this website, git-scm.com/downloads. You can actually just search Git download, okay. Then you will see this first result. It will take you to this website, and you can download for your operating system. I'm using Linux, so it says download for Linux. For you, if you are using Windows or Mac, it will show download for Windows or for Mac, okay. So just download that and install for your computer, and then you can resume. All right. What we'll do is let's create a little folder, okay, and we can call this one practice, Okay, in this folder is where we shall practice the concept of Git. So let's open this folder in Visual Studio Code. Okay, so I will just open VS Code, and I can find that folder. So I can click on File, and then I click Open Folder, and then I come to Practice. Okay, and then I open that. All right. So we have here Visual Studio Code, and our folder is currently empty, as you can see. Okay, and what we want to do is, maybe before we do anything else, you want to first set the version of you want to first set some details for your GitHub. These details include your name and also your email. So the way you do this is you can do git config hyphen hyphen global. Okay, and then you do user dot name, then you write your name. For example, for me this will be my username, then I press enter. The next thing you want to do is you want to set your email. Okay, and you can do the same, just you use instead user dot email instead of user dot name. And then you can write your email. Okay, like that. Simple. Now, after doing that, okay, you can now begin to use Git. Okay, so what we'll do is let's create a file. Okay, here, and we can call it test.py. Okay, and this is a Python file. Let's just have some little code maybe to say hello world. Okay, this is all right for us to get started, and then we can save. You can check if Git is already tracking this file by doing git status. Okay, let me first close this. Okay, so by doing git status, um, it says no git repository here. So the first thing you want to do is to create a git repository. So let's do that by doing git init. So once we do git init, it will initialize our GitHub repository, and the GitHub repository is actually a little folder hidden inside our current folder. Let me just show you here in our practice folder. If I display hidden files and folders, you can see .git here. So it's usually hidden because you're not supposed to modify it. Okay, so yeah, now let's just do git status now. Okay, and then we see that no commits have been made, so no snapshot of the directory of the project has been saved yet. Also, we can see that untracked files are available. We have test.py. Okay, it's currently untracked. We can set it up for tracking by doing git add. Okay, and then this will add it to the staging area. The staging area is just set up before you commit. It's just a preparation for committing your code, your current project status. Okay, so you can do git status, and then we see now we have test.py being tracked. Okay, it's in green now, still no commit yet, and we can save the snapshot of this project as it is right now by doing git commit -m, and then you pass in a particular message that is representative of the change that you've just made. For example, I can say here initialized project, like that. And yeah, here we can see that Git is informing us we've created a file and we inserted there one line of code. Okay, now if I do git status, it says nothing to commit. And one other thing we are saying here is we are on the master branch, and we shall talk about branches again in a little while. But what I told you earlier on was that you can be working on a particular branch, and then your changes can be merged to another branch, but let's do that in a moment. For now, we can just make some change to this code as of now. If I just add maybe a function to greet people, so let me just say def greet, and I just do print hello. Let's just do hello there. Now I have some AI set up here. It's called Amazon Q that sort of auto-generate stuff. Let me just pause it for now for learning purposes. Okay, so I have a function here that just greets. Okay, if I do git status, we can see that this file has been modified. Okay, and but the changes have not been staged for commit. Okay, so git is tracking our code, and then we can do git add, and then we can add test.py. Now, if we have very many files that we want to add at once, we can do git add dot. So this one will add all the files in our current project. Here we only have one file, so we can just no problem writing the name of the file. And then we can do git commit m and then message say added added greeter function, like this. So this one, it says that there have been 4 insertions, okay, and 1 deletion. So you see we are really keeping track of our current project. And we can do git log. Okay, this one will display all the 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 timelines, or rather the points in time when changes were made. And we can see at this particular point, okay, we have a commit and it has a very unique ID. This ID will only be one ID for this project for forever. For this particular change for forever, it will never occur again in this project. So this ID will help us identify this particular project. And the change here was made by Juman Shafara, and this was their email. The date is Sunday, January 26, and this is the time 2025. Okay, 3 hours from the Greenwich Meridian, and this is the message. We added the greeter function. Okay. Also, the other change earlier on was this one by again Juma Shafara on this date, and here they initialized project. Okay, so we can keep track of all the changes. Now this is a bit this contains a bit more information, but if you want to look at the particular differences, you can do git diff. Okay, and maybe let us just make some change, and then we do git diff, and then you can see that the changes will be displayed. All right, so instead of the greeter function just saying hello there, let's say it takes in a name, and then it says hello, and then uh, plus name. So it will greet somebody by their name. Okay, if I do git add, okay, or git add just .py, you have to name the file that you're adding, or you can do git dot to add everything. Okay, if I do git diff now, let me say git diff, and now it says staged. Okay, this one will display for us the staged changes. Okay, and I'm not gonna go deep into this, but basically we will see that this code has been modified like this. So the earlier function was something like this, but now we have a new function with a name parameter added. Okay, so in this way we can be able to check the particular change in a particular time. All right, so I'll just keep it easy, okay, for now. those commands are quite enough. What I want to do is I want to show you how you can collaborate with other people. So what will happen is I will go to Chrome and I have my GitHub account already signed in. Okay, if you don't have a GitHub account, you can just go to GitHub and create an account. So you can go to github.com, okay, and then you can create an account. And then after creating an account, I think you will see some place where you can create an online repository. If you don't see, you can click on your your photo, okay, and then you can click on repositories, okay, and then you will see this option to create a new repository. So you can just click on that, okay, and then you can create a repository. So this repository, maybe I'll just call it git practice, okay, and you can set your name there. Then you can add a description here, maybe practice repository. And this can be public or private. For now I want it to be public. Then usually repositories have a readme which just talks about the information about this project. For now, you can include it if you want, but for now, let's not include it. We shall do that later. You can select a license if you like. For now, we'll not select. So we shall just create a repository by clicking this button below. Now, once you've created your repository, okay, you can copy this link. Here there is this little link. You'll be directed to this page and there is this little link. You can just copy that, okay, and after copying that you can go back to your project and then you can do um, git remote add origin, and then you can pass in that link, okay, right there. Then when you press enter, what happens is that here we have linked the online repository that we just created to this local repository that we have. So now we can be able to send information to the online repository that is available in this current repository on our local machine. Now the way we'll do that is we shall do git push origin, git push origin master, okay. So master is my own branch, okay. I told you earlier on you can do git branch to see which branch you are on, and for me I'm on branch master, okay. So this is my own branch, but anyways what I want to show you is that your code has been pushed, okay, and here is the branch. We see there is this branch master, okay, and there is our file. This is the .py file, okay. It has this little message, a greater function. Oh, one thing we probably see is that this function doesn't have the name parameter because we never committed. What will be sent here is only the committed changes. So we can commit that change. Okay, we can do git commit m added name parameter. Then we can do git push origin master. And then this will push the snapshot to the master branch on GitHub. If I refresh, we can see now that our function has the name parameter. All right. Now, what happens if I want to work with another person? There are very many ways to work with other people. What happens is that one way is you can invite them as collaborators. Okay, so you can go to settings on your project. You can go to settings then you go to collaborators. Okay, so you can enter. I set up some authentication, so I have to enter a code, or I can use my password. So let me just use my password. Okay, so I can invite people as collaborators. If you know your friends say username on GitHub, you can do add people and then you can search them. Okay, maybe like data idea org. Okay, you can then invite them as collaborators. Okay, so let's just add data idea org as a collaborator that we want to work with. So I will just add data idea org. Okay, now here is the thing: when data idea org logs into their GitHub, okay, so let's say now this is data idea org. When they log into their GitHub, they'll get some notification. Okay, and this notification, okay, let's just refresh. I think, okay, I see here one new notification, so let's open that. And this notification is saying invitation to join Juma Shafara / Git practice. So here they're asking data idea to collaborate with Juma Shafara, so I'll just accept. So once I accept, I am given access to this project. And what I want to do is, if I am data idea org, I um, come here and I copy this little code, okay, here, and then I can come to my own machine. Okay, maybe um let's just do let's create a new folder. Okay, so let's do practice to maybe instead of creating a new folder. Okay, I will just clone this project. Okay, so what I'll do is that I'll just come here and I'll open my terminal right here, and then I will do git clone, and then I paste there this. Okay, so what will happen is that this will download all the content on on in the repo and will set up for me a folder which is named the name of the repository. As you can see, it's right here. So this folder will have all the changes that Juma Shafara made. Okay, and I can make my changes as data idea org, and then I can push them. Okay, so that Juma can also receive them online. So let me just make a simulation. So I'll open this in Visual Studio Code also. So let me do code dot. Okay, so here, assuming that I am data idea org, okay, here I have all the changes that Juma Shafara, I have all the code from Juma Shafara. Okay, this is the one. Now, as data idea org, I will have to also I have also to set my information. So I can do git config user dot name, maybe data idea org. Okay, data idea org. Okay, and then I can do git config user dot email, then I do data idea org at gmail.com, like that. And what I want to do is that I will make a branch, okay, which is my personal branch where I'll make the changes and then I push. So I'll do git. Let me first do git status to check if git is there. Okay, see how they're saying that I'm on master. So I can create my own branch by doing git branch, and then I create a name of the branch. So I can do maybe data idea uh, branch. Okay, maybe let me just set data idea. Okay, and then I can do um, I can move to this branch by doing git, okay, check out data idea. Okay, now if I do git branch, I see that there are two branches. There is master, which I downloaded when I was cloning the project, and then there is data idea, which is the branch that I am currently working on. Okay, so I can make my changes. um, okay, so I can maybe remove this. Okay, and then I will set um, uh, I will maybe let me just do this. Let me just add some little code to 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 get the name from the terminal. Okay, so I'll just say gotten name is equals to input. Okay, and then I can add my prompt as enter name. Okay, and then when I will add some little piece of code to use this greet function, okay, with the gotten name, with the name as gotten name. Okay, like that. If I do git diff, okay, we can see the changes that I have made. Okay, what I want to do is I want to do git add, okay, test.py, and then I will do git commit, okay, and then I can say added input feature. Okay, then I can do git push origin data idea. So this will push the changes to my data idea, to the data idea branch online. Okay, now as it does this, I want to also check, I want to confirm with you one thing. Okay, if you move to the master branch, okay, so I can do git checkout master. Notice that the code changed. Okay, it went back to how it was. Okay, so the master branch is still intact, even though I have made my own changes on the data idea branch. Okay, so you see on the data idea branch there is more stuff. Again, so after making my changes, I want to go to the browser, and then I want to go to GitHub, and then I make what we call a pull request. Now a pull request is when you request the manager or this current project to review your changes, and maybe they can merge them. Okay, so what I'll do is that I'll go to data idea branch. Okay, uh, um, maybe let me just go back to the master branch. Okay, and let me just click on pull request, and let me make a new pull request right here. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to select I want to compare the two different branches. So I want to use uh, master. I want maybe let me use master as base, and then I want to compare with data idea. Okay, so here there is a change. Master is different from data idea. Data idea is a commit ahead. Okay, so what happens is I'm allowed to make a pull request so that my changes can be taken in. So let me just make a pull request. Now to make a pull request, you add some title, okay, and then a description. This is optional, so you can just click on create pull request right at the bottom here, and the owner of this repository will uh, will uh, will be notified of the pull requests that you have made, and see that the tests have my code has passed the test, so there is no conflicts with the base branch, which is the master branch. Okay. Now, when Juma Shafara logs into GitHub, okay, and then they come to this project, they will see that there is a pull request. Okay. So they see that there is one pull request here, so we can have a look at it. Okay, new pull request. This is the pull request. Okay, we can click on it and we see no description was provided, but the code that was added passed all the checks and it has no conflicts with the base branch. So as the owner of the project, I can merge this pull request, so I can confirm this merge. Okay, and yep, with this, the code has been, the contribution from the idea has been merged with the main code. And if I just go back to code and I look at test.py, we can see that now it's updated. Okay, so this has happened via GitHub. GitHub has allowed us to collaborate. Okay. Maybe one other thing Juma Shafara may want to do is Juma Shafara may want to go to his own machine, okay, and pull these changes. Okay, so Juma Shafara can do git pull, okay, uh, git pull origin master. So this will bring all the changes that are online to the local machine, and you'll see that happen. Okay, it has happened. Our code has been updated, and we can see that we've added about I don't know 5 lines of code, okay, and one line I think was removed, something like that. All right, so this is how you collaborate. I know that in the beginning it can be a bit confusing, but when you practice, okay, you'll get used to this, and it's a really an amazing thing. As a programmer and data scientist, you must be knowing how to use Git and GitHub for your own project and also to collaborate with others. Alright, this video has been longer than I had intended, but if you've reached here, thank you very much. And I would just like to stop here. All the learning materials are available in the description. The link will be in the description. You will get this project and the necessary links. Alright, thank you. Bye.